So today I'd like to talk about something that bothers me that parents do with their kids, and that is when I walk into a public place and I see parents and they're trying to be hip and cool. You know, they're either a married couple or they're a couple together. They're still relatively young usually. You don't get the older parents doing this so much, but the younger ones, they've got their kids, and their kids have mohawks, and their kids are walking around looking like little punk rockers or little alternative kids. And you think to yourself, that just makes punk rock less cool to me. And I don't know why it bothers me so much because I'm of the school of punk rock where they were rebelling against that idea. I was into American hardcore more than I like the Sex Pistols and the Damned I was okay with, but I'm not huge fans of all the various English bands. I did like Adam and the Ants for a while, but nowadays not quite so into that. But like Dead Kennedys, Black Flag, that kind of stuff. I like the Misfits, but I don't see the need of a uniform to designate. I used to have people say, "Well, you're into punk rock, but you're not a punk rocker because you don't have a mohawk." That's like you don't need one. You can be a punk rocker just because you're an outsider, you're an individualist, and you're anti-authoritative. And I just think that dressing your kid up like a punk rocker is demeaning. I guess I'm trying to say is you can be a punk rocker, you can be a punk, and I tend to be a punk, not a rocker. But at the same token, something that's been distressing me is my daughter is taken to being a goth, and she's 6 years old. She's all about vampires, and she talks about blood all the time. And she can't wait for Halloween, and for her birthday, she wants to have a vampire birthday. What am I supposed to buy vampire equipment for a vampire birthday at a good price for her birthday? That's just silly. Well, this is what she wants, and so my wife kind of compromised with her and said, "Okay, let's make some vampire invitations." And so they go online, they're looking at pictures of vampires, and she wants all the ones that are way inappropriate for a 6 year old to have for a first grader birthday party. And my wife made a sample of four, and picked out two that I said, these two ones you can't use because you're gonna get the parents giving us, what's wrong with you people? And then they're gonna call the school psychologist and have our daughter analyzed. But I don't know what to do about it. We're not enforcing this on her. We're not telling her to be this way. Myself and my wife, we find vampires kind of passe. We're not into them. But she's all about it. And it's probably because we don't like them that she's all about them now. Because she's a rebel. Um, her first grade teacher reflected the information to us that she is anti authoritative. She is very much against authority, which is something that me and my wife know. You tell her to do something, she argues and she questions authority quite a lot. I don't know where she gets it from, but I'll take the blame because I tend to question authority a lot, especially with my wife. When she tells me to do something, I usually either do it inappropriately or I do it in a anti-authoritative stance, passive aggressively. That's just the way I've always been. As my wife calls it, she calls me a punk. She says, "You're just being a punk," in the very literal word. But here it is, my daughter turning out the exact same way. Hates authority and doesn't like being told what to do. And that's a problem because you got to teach kids, how to get along in life. You can't always be fighting the powers that be. if you want to have a normal, successful life. As I often tell my wife, if I wasn't with her, I'd be doing much more dangerous and violent things to people. But fun demonstrations of my anti-authoritative slant. But as of now, I've got too many other responsibilities that I'd rather take care of than proving how stupid the people in charge are. Maybe my daughter will grow up to be some sort of demonstrator. One can hope. Well, that's all I have to say about that. To recap, I hate people that dress their kids up as punks and goths. But on the same side, my daughter does this stuff of her own free will. So maybe I shouldn't blame the parents. Maybe the kids are actually choosing to do this, but you look at the parents, they're doing the same thing. So you think that maybe the kid's copying them or aping them or they're I don't know. My kid's not aping me. And I'm thinking maybe you can't tell your kid not to be into what they're into. That just makes them into it more. Oh well, message out.